I said from day one, Wanderlei will never, he's not going to do the fight. He came to the Ultimate Fighter and he used it as an opportunity to party, and he didn't train, and I thought it was pretty obvious he wasn't going to do the match. Well, you know, I've been trying to fight the guy from back when fighting him was hard to do, and he wouldn't do it back then. He wouldn't do it back when he was winning fights, and you know, to think that he was going to do it now is just unrealistic. And then when we got to the set, like I said, you know, you have to understand the Ultimate Fighter is really a training camp. And there's a tournament going on, but every day it's a training camp. That's what they're filming. And it's the ultimate training camp. You got all these partners, you got the best coaches, the best facility, and he didn't work out. And particularly when you understand he hasn't fought since January of last year, you just can't miss those fights. And at that time we were the main event, which means it was a 5-round fight. So he wasn't preparing, even though it was a 5-round fight against his enemy. You know, he and I aren't friends. That's a big fight that neither one of us wants to lose. And I was in the room practicing, and he was out at the bar drinking. The very first thing I said was, they said Wanderlei's out, and I said Wanderlei was never in. I would say it the other way. For a brief moment, I thought maybe he would. I know for a little bit he went out to Rafael Cadero's in California, which means he had to pick up and you know, move out there, and so it kind of looked like he was going to train, and then he left Cadero's place, and he went back to Vegas, and you know, there's nowhere for him to prepare out there. You know, I just did a press conference with him in Vegas, and Dana White stood in between us, and I asked him, "Are you going to show up?" That was all I said. And I didn't mean it when I said it. I was just something to say, and he didn't answer me. He said, "Come on." So I said it again. "Wanderlei, are you going to show up?" And he said, "Come on." I said, "Wanderlei, answer my question. Are you going to show up on July 5th? He said, "Come on." 3 times he hit me with the same thing, and I knew right then. I thought, Dana, I hope you're listening, because this guy's not coming. I think there's only one positive that came from this whole thing, and that is, you know, he's always operated under a cloud of suspicion, and we've all known, hey, that guy's cheating, but you can't say it unless you catch him. And you know, he came over from Japan. He became the incredible shrinking man. You know, every time you saw him, he was smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think the one good thing is all the guys that fought him and all the guys that have gone, man, that guy was dirty, can finally go and have a little bit of redemption. And in fact, I talked to one of those guys earlier today, and that is the feel that they have. But I don't want to see him, you know, this is his livelihood, and he has a family, and I want him to be able to continue to support his family. You know, here I'll give you some inside scoop, speaking of things that didn't make the editing floor. When Wanderlei Silva quit, the producers came to me and they go, "Hey man, you might have to apologize. This show might be over." And I said, "Guys, the only thing that scares Wanderlei Silva more than Chael Sonnen is Vitor Belfort. Tell Wanderlei that I am calling Vitor right now, and that we're asking Vitor to take his spot, and tell Wanderlei he can go home." And they're like, "Oh, we can't do that." And I said, "You got to trust me on this one." So I called Vitor from the locker room. They filmed the whole thing. You can ask Vitor this story. It's a true story. I said, "Vitor, you can't say anything about what I'm going to tell you." I said, "But Wanderlei Silva's quit the show, and you're going to get offered the spot." And Vitor said, "Man, I'd love to do it." He said, "But I'm getting ready for a title fight with Weidman. I can't do it." But they took my advice. They went out to Wanderlei and they said, "Wanderlei, Vitor's coming in. It's okay. We understand if you want to quit." And as soon as they said that, he turned around, walked inside with his tail between his legs, put his shirt back on, and the show continued. It's over. As far as I'm concerned, it's over with Wanderlei. And I'm not a bully. I don't pick on people that don't want to fight. And I know Wanderlei's terrible. I went after him because he's terrible. I admit that, though. But he also said he wanted to fight. And now he is making it very clear he doesn't, and I will never pick on him again. And I'd also like to say, since you asked me about that, Andre Dida, who sucker punched me, he sent an apology to me. I have accepted his apology. And Dida has taken a lot of criticism, but I would like to remind people, this is how it works. If you do something bad, you get punished. But then you're done. Okay, you can't stand outside of a prison and throw stones at guys once they get released. Andre Dida did something bad. He was punished. That's it. It's over. If I saw Dida right now, I might say hello. I might walk past him, but either way, it's over. And I accepted his apology, and I hope everybody else forgives him too. He was punished, and he's done. Let him off the hook.
Would you say hello to Wanderlei if you meet here tomorrow, for example?
If I passed him, I would say hello to him. I have no, I'm good. I'm moving on. Bigger and better things. I got Vitor. And you know when, don't you? July 5th, and only on pay-per-view.
Wanderlei released the video right now, saying that was all a misunderstanding, that he couldn't read English and he didn't understand the contract. Do you buy that?
Do you? I mean, listen. Let him have his fun and let him cover it however he will. And you know, I think that's pretty clear. They came in to test him and he ran. He literally ran. And there's really not a whole lot you can do with that. Yeah, well, just the opposite. Vitor is a really hard fight, a really skilled guy, particularly now. He was the fighter of the year for me. For 2013, I thought he should have won the Fighter of the Year award. It went to Chris Weidman, which is also worthy, but I thought it was Vitor.
But in the past you said when Vitor signed a contract, you went to the gym. And now that's changed?
Yeah, you know, I know what you're saying there, and our paths were going to cross too. You know, I think for my career to be complete, I got to fight Wanderlei and I got to fight Vitor. I already fought Wanderlei. Unfortunately, it wasn't in the ring, but now it's Vitor. Well, you know what? That's news to me. Dana just said that in Berlin, and I just heard. I weigh 236 pounds right this second. That would leave me with 51 pounds to lose in 30-some days. I don't know if that's possible. I have a contract. My contract's for 205, so I'm hoping that Dana misspoke. But if it's at 185, it's at 185. Oh no, me and Vitor are headlining the biggest show of the year on July 5th, 7 p.m., 10 in the East, and only on pay-per-view.